this edition of Hall's Garden Center Plant Talk. One of the privileges I sometimes get with our customers is I get to pick the plant material that they want for their gardens. We have a very astute plant person that has a very specific need. They want to create a dwarf conifer garden outside of a breezeway at their house that they can look at some very unusual plant material. So what we chose for them in the dwarf deciduous conifer world, the first plant, is Larix Melini Romberg Park. And this is a plant that's native to Siberia and also to Mongolia. It's got very short, congested, tight green needles that emerge very early, suggestive of where it comes from because it's coming from a much colder climate. And then in the fall, we get those great kind of overtones of strong yellow. The next one we picked for him is Picea Mariorica Michaela. It's a mouthful to say, but what it is, it's a hybrid. It's a cross between a black spruce and Ulmerica spruce, where you get these great bicolor markings. On the bottom we've got blue, on the top we've got green, and then we have this great kind of horizontal lateral movement to it. Very stiff, very deer resistant. To point out also, most of the conifers that we're going to be talking about today require full sun part shade. If you're in a strong southern climate, you probably want to protect them a bit more. The third plant that we picked today, this is Cryptomeria japonica Little Champion. I've loved this plant for a long time. You get this great kind of all-shaped needle cast to it. The branchlets, to me, as they mature, suggest kind of like a rope-like, almost Medusa-like appearance to it. Great green most of the year, but going into the fall and winter, we pick up kind of a russet plum color to it. The fourth plant today, Pinus parviflora kinpo. This is a dwarf Japanese white pine. Great windswept movement through it. Would be great in this application. We've got the steel blues and the grays and a little bit of the green that's mixed in. But clearly what we're going to be looking at here is artistic form with this plant and that great windswept movement. The fifth plant that we're looking at today is Thuya orientalis Frankie Boy. To me, when I first saw this plant, it looked like another variety called Thuya plicata whipcord that we get. Again, those kind of rope-like branchlets that come off. This is going to be a beacon in his garden. We're going to have a lot of strong yellow color in here, which will help bounce across the blues and the greens that we get. And we will keep this pruned into a somewhat upright, almost football-like pattern. The next plant, I've waited a long time to get my hands on this. This is the piece de resistance for me. This is Picea abies Pouche. It's an acrocona type, so it has a terminal bud cone that's sitting at the end of the branchlet. This is probably one of the greatest harbingers of spring for me because it's a raspberry red cone that emerges. That's just one of the greatest things I think in conifers. Moving down the line, this is Picea pungens Sester's Blue. In my mind, this should start replacing the Alberta spruce in the world. We have lots and lots of Alberta spruce. Almost every landscape seems to have one or two. If not in their landscape, it's in their planters on their patio. This is going to mimic the same form and function. A strong pyramid, but a blue form. The problem with Alberta spruce, they're always susceptible to spider mite damage. They crave water. They like full sun. This also will crave water. It likes full sun, but we can do it in a blue form. And then the last one that we chose for their yard, this is Cyadopetus verticillata Stern Schnoop. Again, a plant that I learned about a decade ago that I've been waiting. For those of you that know Japanese umbrella pine, you can't resist touching it because it's got that very distinct rubber texture to it. What I really like about this one is the strong internodal growth between. You get the pronounced oranges that are in here. And over time, the bark becomes fissured. It's almost like a torn bark. Very beautiful to look at. Last point to mention with that plant is it's one of the few conifers that, as I mentioned earlier, most of them like sun. This one will take some shade, some strong shade. And at my house, it's deer resistant. Not to say that I condone this, that everyone should put that into the landscapes and think the deer won't eat it, but hey, in New Jersey at my house, they're not touching it right now. So this is what we've chosen for his garden. We're very excited about it, and we're eager to look at these plants mature on his property.